When Christmas comes around, I usually see a lot of videos or articles that claim that Santa doesn't exist. The reasoning for this basically boils down to Santa go fast, Earth go boom. Now, most people might think that this is a perfect explanation for debunking the existence of Santa. But you're wrong! All the kids from around the world, rejoice! Cause I'm going to prove that Santa is real using math. One big flaw that I see in these types of anti-Santa media is that they assume that Santa gives presents to every single child on Earth. This in turn gives Santa a large traveling distance, which leads people to believe that Santa must be traveling too fast for it to be possible to get it done in a single night. Well, that's not true, cause Santa is a piece of shit. He's like those girls in school that only acknowledge the existence of the popular kids and sees the rest as grass. If you actually think about the stories, then you'll see that Santa is really picky on the types of kids he gives presents to. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get a rough estimate of the number of people Santa actually visits. And from that number, I'll get the number of houses he has to visit. Then the true distance he travels in a single night. Then finally, by using this formula, I can get the speed he really travels. Now everyone shut up and look at this map. I created this map. The countries that turn red are countries Santa won't visit. The reason for this is because these countries don't celebrate Christmas. Now, I just did a quick Google search, so I don't know if any of this is true, but apparently, according to this dude, these countries in North Africa and these countries in the Middle East don't celebrate Christmas cause they're Muslims. This small country called Bhutan can't cause they're Buddhists, and this country is cause of this dude. Now remember guys, Santa is a piece of shit. He's not gonna give a damn about people who don't celebrate this holiday. So, sorry guys. Santa puts present under a Christmas tree. Simple. But what would you do if you don't have a Christmas tree in your country? That comes to my second point. He's not gonna come without the tree. According to all the Christmas specials I've watched when I was a kid, Christmas trees grow in cold regions. So places that are hot, like tropical, subtropical, and arid places, are all gone. Now the map will look like this. I'm only counting countries that have natural Christmas trees, not artificial. And I'm also not counting the ones that are imported. So only trees that grow in their own country are allowed. I know this might seem unfair to some, but wait. I have a totally justifiable reason for me to do this. I'm lazy. As you can see, Europe over here is blessed with its lush evergreen trees, while Africa just doesn't exist. Kinda like how Americans view the world.
Can you name a country on this map?
Asia.
Some of you may have noticed that I made the entire South Hemisphere red. There are countries in the Southern Hemisphere that actually do grow these trees, but it's somewhere over there, they don't count. Now, I don't know about you, but I have never heard of any Christmas story where Santa puts presents outside. So even if you live in a country where Christmas trees grow, you also have to be in a country that has a tradition of keeping those trees inside your house. And there goes my country. Yup, I'm Japanese. By the way, I make these types of videos with a bad upload schedule, so like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll give you, jelly donut.
These donuts are great! Jelly-filled are my favorite! Nothing beats a jelly-filled donut.
Anyways, now the map will look like this. I didn't research every single country's tradition, so I might have gotten some things wrong, but I'm pretty sure that the map will look something like this. Trust me. Now, if you look at this map very carefully, it clearly reveals that Santa is a racist. Okay, that's enough for countries. Time to figure out the actual number of people Santa needs to visit from these countries. How does Santa intrude into your house again? That's right, the chimney. Doors. Windows. Santa's too cool for that. He has to go down the chimney. This implies that Santa will also ignore children who don't live in places that have a chimney. I couldn't find the exact percentage of houses that have chimneys, so I'm just gonna assume that every single house has one, while things like apartments don't. Long story short, I got the data, I did the math, and I ended up with these numbers. About 340 million people in Europe, 150 million in America, and 100 million from all the other countries live in a house. So that means that there are about 590 million people who live in houses with a chimney in these areas. According to the United Nations, 36% of the world's population are children. So 202 million children live with a chimney. There are on average 2.3 children per family. So that means that Santa has to visit 92 million houses in one night. The distance between houses vary from place to place, but I'm tired of doing all the math, so I'm just gonna trust this article, which is written by the guys from Kusol Kazak Laboratory. For those of you who don't know, these guys are what you get if you fuse MatPat and Bill Nye the Science Guy together, and then some kind of genetic mutation occurs that makes them Japanese or something, I don't know. They're so cool. I really recommend giving their article a read. Well, if you can read Japanese, of course. In the article, it says that if all the houses in the world were equally spread out, the distance between houses would be 77 meters. So 92 million times 77, and that gives you a total distance of 7.08 million kilometers. As for the time, Santa has 32 hours to deliver the presents because of time zones. Okay, so after all the excruciating calculations, we finally have all the data we need to find out Santa's actual speed. And to prove once and for all that Santa is traveling at a perfectly normal velocity, I, Washizoi, declare that Santa is traveling only a measly 221,250 kilometers per hour, or Mach 180. Hey, wait. I have like a perfect way of explaining this situation, so give me another chance. Please. Santa lives at the North Pole, right? But you know how he seems to be in like 100 different places at the same time? It's as if there's multiple Santas, but there can only be one. What this means is that Santa Claus is a ninja. He can just simply use the Kage Bunshin no Jutsu and multiply into an infinite amount of Santas. The more Santas there are, the less distance he has to travel, and thus, the slower the speed. See, I told you I have a perfect explanation. Some of you may think, well, if he's really real, then why has there not been any physical evidence proving Santa's existence? Well, easy. It's because the people who do get to see him get kidnapped and are forced to work the rest of their lives as elves. Why do you think he lives in the North Pole? To run from the CIA, obviously. I mean, Santa is literally an anagram for Satan. There's no way he can be good. He also probably abuses his reindeers by feeding them Red Bull too. Conclusion. Santa only has to deliver presents to this amount of people. And in order to do that, Santa has to travel 180 times the speed of sound. But it's okay because he's a ninja. A demonic ninja. Here's a list of some of his evil deeds. Just stay away from him at all costs. Best way to avoid him is to get a good night's rest on Christmas Eve. Go to sleep, kids. You're gonna need it. To anyone who's kind enough to watch till the end of this video, thank you. I really appreciate it. And I wish you all a merry June 25th.